Hi guys, welcome to Mama Thoughts in September. So I thought I would just talk a little bit about something kind of random but relevant to what I have been thinking about this month. So I'm on this new show. It's called A Discovery of Witches, and it was my dream role, and it was this show that I wanted more than anything. I haven't been so passionate about a project in a really long time, and it came my way, and I was putting all this positive energy into it, and I worked really hard to get the role, and I'm so excited that I have it. And there was a few weeks there where I wasn't sure if it was going to be my role or not, and what I realized was that as soon as I relinquished the control surrounding it and came to peace with whatever the outcome would be, sure enough, that's when I got the phone call saying, "You're moving to Wales." And it was lovely. But I think there was such a beautiful lesson in that, this idea of letting go. And so as a part of my role in this show, my character, Dr. Diana Bishop, she is this brilliant rower, and it's kind of like a meditation for her. She loves going out in the water and just being there in her skull, which is a racing skull, a single skull it's called. And she loves the feeling of the wind and just the movement. It's very methodic, and so I've never rowed before in my life, and so it was a skill that I really wanted to learn. And so I jumped into training, and the first time I got in the boat, he refused to put me in a scull in the small rowboat, because he immediately thought I would tip it. And so we started kind of in a bigger one, and then we got down to a smaller, until now we're in the one that we're filming, and it's beautiful, and I feel so connected to this boat. And a part of rowing, I always naively thought it was just about strength, which it's not. It's so about your mind and about just like listening to the movements of the boat and being in sync with the boat. And the boat is a mirror. So if I start to tense up, the boat starts wobbling, and you're so close to falling in the water. But as soon as you breathe and you just feel into your body and you let go, you just allow the movements to come, and you're in flow, you start really feeling into what it's like to be rowing in a beautiful way. And it's very rhythmic, and it's so recharging, and it's beautiful. I just thought it was such a good metaphor for life and for parenting. And I notice whenever I'm rigid with my parenting, things go awry. It's always something ends up going wrong, or another big challenge will fly my way. And it's just when I tap into a space of being just open and receptive, and less pressure, and just going with the flow, that's when parenting feels a lot easier. So this month I have been navigating through transition over transition after transition, and we moved to Cardiff, we started this show. I haven't worked as a mother to 2 children so far. This is my first job that I've worked on, that that I've had 2 children. So it's really different. It's really different because you work full-time hours and you're at work, and then your children, a lot of the time my kids will be with me at work. After Bodhi finishes school here in Cardiff, he'll come to work with me, and I'll be with them. And so you're always on. So you're on at work, and then as soon as work's done, you come back home, you're doing bedtime, and you're getting them ready for, they're getting their food ready and their school lunch ready for the next day, and just, looking after them and feeding the baby and all those sorts of things. So you're constantly on, and that has been a big transition just in terms of the energy needed to do all of those things. And mothers, we really feel like we want to be able to do it all. And So I was like, how am I going to find the stamina to keep this up? And for me, it's about lowering my expectations of myself, really allowing it to be more of go with the flow, this feeling that I have when I'm on the boat and I get in rhythm and I'm in it and it's working. And so on this job, it's been really just a beautiful lesson in being free with what experiences are coming my way without judgment, and just kind of observing those things. And when we first got here, it was funny, like Bodhi was very jet lagged, so we were dealing with some tantrums, and you know, he was so jet lagged, and he doesn't really do well with jet lag so much, I've noticed. And we're really talking to him about his feelings and explaining about his body and, you know, what's going on with his body and why he's having these mad feelings. And then seemingly overnight, he grew up and he lost all morsels of toddlerhood. He looked different. He just like snapped into this place where all of a sudden, oh, now he's 3.5 and now he's a big guy. And the tantrums just dropped away. And then, you know, we have just noticed such a huge shift in him. And then even that is something that I have to embrace and not worry about and not fear. And he's growing up, where's my baby gone? All of that has to go out the window. And I notice that as soon as I get fearful over anything to do with the kids, I get tense, and then I'm not being the parent that I want to be. And so it's so beautiful just to observe the place that he's in, and he now has his own bedroom, and he's starting to go to sleep on his own, which never happened before. And he used to snuggle with me in bed and we'd fall asleep together, and finally we realized, like, all right, why don't we try a big boy bedroom for him, which he was really excited about. And he started a new school and has made all these friends and already, and he's just so adaptable, and I learn from him all the time. I'm constantly learning. I'm looking at this bright little face and the way he sees the world, and he hasn't become desensitized like us adults. You know, we get very desensitized about things. He's still so curious and excited about things and brave to meet new people and just open. And he is my greatest teacher. So this month, with all the new transitions for me and coming to work and meeting new people and having directors and producers again, and, you know, being a mum with 2 kids, and, you know, having to ask for favors. Oh, do you mind if the driver goes and picks up my son from school? I need 2 car seats, and I need, you know, and I think in previous years I'd feel very sheepish to ask for things like that, but I'm just learning from Bodhi and his outlook, and just the little beautiful bright being that he is. And it's been making this experience for me so pleasant, and I'm learning so much. I'm learning a lot about myself. I'm learning the art of surrender, which is always my favorite thing to do. And once I'm in the place of surrender, life feels amazing. But when I'm being too rigid, I think I just keep hitting obstacles. And so, you know, this month has been lovely, and just learning all about this and learning from my children, and you know, watching these beautiful little spirits just navigate their world and all the changes, and just how beautifully they're doing that. You know, I'm very inspired by that. And then just being softer in general, just being a softer human being. I also don't have the energy to be as regimented as maybe I once was. I think just being softer and just like allowing the space for things to go the way that they're going. 2 days ago, Bodhi, he was really tired. He didn't have a sleep. So he goes to school until 3:30. He didn't have a sleep. And he was at that point, you know, that point where they're just like kind of losing their minds because they haven't slept. It was at that point, and I was exhausted. I'd been working. I had worked until 1 a.m. the night before, and I had a really emotional scene, and I was just spent, and I was at home, and I just really had this energy, and I was like, I hear you. You seem really upset, and buddy, like, I'm here for you. Let me know if you want me close. And I had such low energy, but I was so soft. I wasn't as like direct with him to really try and help him get out of his big feelings. I just held the space, but I was just also exhausted. He moved through it. He was kicking, screaming, and then took a deep breath, came over to me, and he said, Mama, I'm sorry for yelling at you. I was having really big feelings. And I was like, oh, wow. And he was like, can we hug it out? I was like, yes. And so we hugged, and of course I went to bed and I cried. I was like, oh my God, my big guy, he like navigated that on his own. And was it a result of me just being like really soft and quiet and observant instead of coming in and trying to fix it for him, just giving him the space to have those big feelings? And you know, maybe it was part that he's also growing up, but you know, that's happened twice this week. And how he just comes back around into his own, like, oh wow, I really was having some big feelings, wasn't I, Mama? Do you know what my big feelings were about? It was actually just that you only let me have 2 of the gummy bears, and I wanted 3 of the gummy bears. And I was like, oh, well, thank you so much for explaining that to me, Bodhi. I love it when we communicate. And it's just been so interesting. What a beautiful month of lessons and going deeper and getting to know ourselves better. And it's just been really lovely. And I'm very aware of the time. I could go on and on and on, but I'm at 12 minutes, and this takes a really long time to upload onto YouTube. So anyway, I love you guys, and just thank you for always being such an amazing outlet. And I love reading your comments and connecting over parenting and navigating through it all. I just love it. So okay, I'll see you next month, and more updates then. Mwah.